Ever since I stopped drinking alcohol, I've just given up everything that I enjoyed in life. That was a comment that I got by a guy called Greg Person, and he said, so basically I just give up all the things you enjoy. Sorry, so basically you give up all the things you enjoy. Lol. I understand the sentiment from where you're sitting. If you're a drinker, if whatever you're doing, and I'm saying to you, you know, the better life is with not what you're doing. I get that, but it's just basically not true. You know, you really do give up so much in your life when you drink alcohol. You give up so much in the present now, because you know you're funneling your life down into a very narrow bandwidth, if you like. You know, when you're drinking and you're drunk, there's very little else you can do. I mean, some people say, well, I get creative when I'm drunk. Well, you know, in my experience, creative thoughts and creative output is from a position of drunkenness is drunken output, and it's generally because people have conditioned themselves into only being able to create when they're drunk. So, but in general, people, when you're drinking, you narrow your choices hugely. You know, there's very little you can do while you're drinking. You can't go out and you can go out and walk, but I'm telling you now, walking without alcohol is far better. You know, what can you do when you're drinking? You know, at the end of the day, the more you drink into the future as well, the more your life revolves around alcohol, the more your choices become based around alcohol. I mean, when I was drinking, going out for a meal was about the alcohol first, not the meal. Going away on holidays was about the alcohol first. The weekend was not about relaxation, it was about the alcohol first. Coming home from night wasn't about trying to relax and just enjoy my time off from work. It was about the alcohol first, and it all started to get to that stage. It was just horrible. And it was horrible because I didn't see it. You know, it was one of those things that I was so suckered into it, so brainwashed into the bullshit, that my life wasn't completed without a visit to the pub, pouring my money across the fucking counter and giving it to some drug dealer, or going into a supermarket or a liquor store and doing the same thing, handing over my money for a poisonous liquid that I was pouring down my throat and poisoning myself with. Where is the fun in that? But we're, as I say, brainwashed into the idea that you cannot have fun without alcohol, you cannot relax without alcohol, you cannot socialize without alcohol. There's just so much bullshit, real bullshit. You know, the more you drink, the more your life gets caught up with alcohol, and the more you have to give up because of that. You've only got 24 hours in a day, like the rest of us. You've only got a certain amount of energy, like the rest of us. You've only got a certain amount of money, and the more you plow into this one habit, behavior, the less you've got to give to something else. And I'm not talking about just the time that you're spending drinking. You know, look at the after effects, look at the hangover, look at the time after the hangover when you don't feel physically that bad, but your mental capacity has been reduced. You know, one of the biggest changes that I found since I stopped drinking alcohol has been that I've started questioning so many different things. You know, once you start questioning this one thing, why am I drinking, and what is the story with pouring this alcohol down my throat, this poison down my throat, once you start to see alcohol for what it is and the behavior of alcohol for what it is, then, as I say, you start to question it. And once you start to question that, then it's not very long before you start to question other things as well in your life, and you start to base your decisions and what you do and your behaviors, your actions, around knowledge instead of just on what you've done before, you know, or what your parents have done, or what your friends are doing, or what the whole society is fucking doing. It doesn't make any difference. It's based on doing something because other people are doing it, it's not based on knowledge that you have gathered yourself and weighed it up and said, well, you know, maybe this is not such a good idea for me. I do that now all the time. People that I teach are doing that all the time. People that stop drinking alcohol and realize what alcohol is doing to themselves start doing that all the time, because it's just a natural process. You know, once you start to, as I say, figure out, well, this is really causing me shit, and I thought it wasn't. I thought it was me. I thought it was me that had the problem and not the alcohol, and not pouring the alcohol into my system or any amount of alcohol was the problem. Once you start to see that, then you start to question so many other things as well. You know, for me, changing over to a whole foods plant-based diet is a prime example of that. You know, 8 months after I stopped, well, 6 months after my dad went into hospital, various conditions that he had, all down to diet, nutrition. So I started reading up for myself. You know, you can take a bad situation and turn it into a beneficial situation for yourself, and try not to make the mistakes that the older generation made or somebody you know has made. So read a lot of books about nutrition, and for me it just came down to a plant-based whole food diet. Just seemed the most logical one. That was another area where I went out and I got the knowledge that I needed to make an informed decision about my own diet. Prime example, eh? So I mean, it all boils down to really just looking after myself in a completely different and much more deliberate way. I'm enjoying much more in life now, and I can enjoy and get much more out of life. You know, there's so many things I enjoy now that I didn't enjoy before. Like I said, when you're drinking, your life just contracts into alcohol or into whatever it is that you're doing, because that's the nature of drug use. It's the nature of being an addict. I don't like the word addict, but being dependent on, you know, something outside of yourself, being dependent on instant gratification and anything. Your mind and your life will contract into that one thing. It's like being sucked into a black hole. But as you stop doing that, your mind and your life starts to expand again. And you can only see that when you stop doing it. Once you're inside of it, it's very difficult to see. You know, that's when you look at my first video, you can see that I'm a week away from alcohol and I'm still in that drinker's mind. A month later, I'm still there. 6 months later, I'm a lot further away than I was, but I'm still sort of in that. But I'm learning, you know, I'm learning a lot more about myself and about my life. But now, you know, I'm outside of that alcohol. I can't see the same way anymore. I can't see any benefits to it. There was no benefits ever to me, but just kidded myself that there was. You know, I got suckered in, not deliberately. I mean, it's not something that, you know, you walk out one day and all of a sudden you're like, hey, I think I'll start drinking. It's something that you believe from the moment that you're born. You start to, all those inputs are being fed into your brain over the years, and then by the time you get to that stage where you can get alcohol for yourself, it's not a question of if, it's a question of when. So look, it's a good life without alcohol. You know, like I say, you've got to experience it to believe it yourself. If you are in alcohol and you don't believe it, then, you know, what can I say to you? You know, but it's not my life. You know, I'm not leading your life. I'm leading my own life, and I'm fucking enjoying it. You know, so if you want help quitting drinking alcohol, there's a book you can download, 10 Steps to Stopping Drinking. You can click on the link down below this video to get it. It's in the discussion box, what would you call it? And if you want to give us a helping hand, click on the like button. You can share the video, or you can subscribe to the channel. Click on the notifications bell, I think it is, then you'll get the notifications of any new videos that come up. So look, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, keep the alcohol out your mouth, onwards and upwards. Take care, bye now.